Hi everyone, welcome to the training today. It's a wonderful Friday morning, so we're excited to be here with you. My name is Stephanie Wilson, and I'm going to be leading you through the training. And today what we're going to do is walk through how to utilize the provider portal for review submission. So here's the agenda of all the stuff we're going to cover. As I stated earlier, or for any of you that have joined after that, there is a copy of this presentation that's posted on a website, so you're able to print that out or use that for reference. There's also a portal user guide available to you that you'll have access to. We will be posting a recorded video of the presentation. That should probably be available in about a week, but it will be out there for you to rewatch or if you have questions and want to hear things again. And then we'll also be posting other documents as they become available, so we'll want to make sure that you check that website regularly. And we'll have that website up on a slide in in just a minute, so we'll show you what that is. So just a little bit about our system and the benefits to using it. Qualitrac is a web-based system. It's accessible anywhere that you have an internet connection. And what this system does, it allows for automation to streamline the review process. Another really good thing about it is that it provides for the secure electronic upload of medical records or any other related clinical documentation. And you'll have 24/7 access that allows you to track the progress of the reviews you submitted, see if there's a determination that's been made, and review any letters or any information that's been attached to that review. So let's go ahead and get started. As I had said, there's a website where all of our training documentation and this PowerPoint is listed. We do recommend that you bookmark this link so that you'll have easy access to view any of the documentation or to log into the system. So starting April 1st, users that have submitted a security admin packet and have received their credentials will be able to begin submitting reviews using the provider portal. There'll be a login link in the top right-hand corner of the website so that you can log in and access the system. And we just recommend that you check the site frequently because, like I said, as new tip sheets come out or new training documents or any changes to the portal, we want to make sure you have access to that information, and it will all be posted on the website. So here's just a screenshot of what that site looks like. This education and training panel is where you'll be able to find the user guide and the presentation slides that we're going over today. Here in the document library is where you'll find our security admin registration packet, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Also note that there is some FAQs for frequently asked questions. You may be able to find some answers to a question that you have there, and there is information on this contact page, so how you can get a hold of someone if you need additional help. So now that we're kind of through the introduction, we'll move into our security admin registration process. So our provider portal uses what's called a delegated security model, and this means that an executive or a manager, someone in leadership at your organization or your clinic or your hospital will need to select or delegate one or more individuals to be the security administrator for that facility. The security administrator will be a point of contact for the organization. You'll be able to set up users, remove users, reset passwords if you need to, and we'll talk through all of that kind of details of that later in the presentation. But to get access to our system, you do need to have a security administrator. So like we said, that registration packet can be downloaded from the website. The website is listed here, and it's in that document library section. What that is a PDF that opens up. You can either print it or save it. The first couple sections of that packet are just information about what's needed and how the system works. And then what we will need is for you to complete 3 sections, and that's Section 3, which is the executive agreement, Section 4, the security administrator agreement, and then Section 5, the actual registration form. So Section 3 needs to be filled out by someone that can act on behalf of the facility, and it just gives that person or persons the right to have access as a security administrator. Section 4 will need to be signed by each person that is going to become a security administrator, and it just says that you agree to use the system correctly and as it's intended. And then on Section 5 is where we'll actually need your some demographic information, name, email, address, phone number, that kind of stuff. So every person that's going to be a security administrator will need to make sure that that Section 5 of the packet is filled out. And just to note, to comply with security requirements for HIPAA, we do require that page 5 or Section 5 of that packet be notarized for each person that's sending it in. Once all the sections are filled out and the packet is completed, it needs to be mailed to the address listed here. We do need a hard copy of that notarized form sent to that address. And then once we have received your packet, we'll get your account set up in the system, and then we will send out an email with your username that you have been assigned and that you'll need to be able to sign into the system. So security administrator is the first step that needs to be done to make sure you have access to the system. Now we'll go ahead and kind of talk through what you do after that's been submitted and you have your access information. So everyone will be assigned a username, and it's a distinct username for the system. Again, to access the system, you'll go to the website and use the sign-in link in the top right-hand corner, and that will become effective starting April 1st on Monday. The first time you log in, you will need to reset your password. So to do that, you'll go to the login page using that sign-in link provided on the website, and then underneath the black sign-in box is a reset password link, and you'll click that link to start the reset password process. When you click that link, a modal opens asking you to enter your username, and this will be the username that you received in the email that we send to you. Please do not enter an email address because that won't work correctly. But if you enter your username and click the submit button, the system actually finds your account, uses the email address that we have submitted for you, and sends you an email with a link to reset your password. And then once you get that password reset, you're able to log into the system and begin submitting reviews. So again, we have a copy of the website here where you can go to use the login to access the system. You'll enter your username and your password that you have set up. You'll click the sign-in link to access the system, and it will take you to our home or our landing page. So we're going to talk through how the system works. We're going to start by going over kind of this top menu bar up here, and then we'll be focusing on this utilization management panel as we move forward. One thing we do want to note or point out that we do recommend that you use a Chrome browser when you're accessing the system. This does provide the best user experience over like an Internet Explorer browser or something else. So along the top of the website, we have what's called our provider portal menu bar, and this bar will be available to you anywhere that you are in the system. It allows you to have some quick links so that you can navigate to certain parts of the system quickly. So just to point those out, you'll notice this Qualitrac logo over here on the left side. If you click on that, that will take you back to that home page or that landing page where you can start new processes. The magnifying glass will open search options for you so that you can do a case search or a member search, and we'll show you those screens in a little bit. And then the circle with the, looks like kind of a person in it. There's a drop-down arrow next to it. If you click on that, it allows you to either log out of the system or it'll take you to your Manage Profile section where you can update your email address or your phone number if any of that happens to change after your account has been set up. So we're going to go back to this utilization management panel. That's kind of where everything that you do will start. So you'll see there are two options for you to utilize, either Start Tasks or Search. The Start Task button will take you to what's called our task queue, and if there has been any information request sent to you from the nurse, that's where you'll be able to see that that request has been submitted to you. And then the Search button works the same way as that magnifying glass that I showed you up above. It's where we can go to a case search or a member search. So we're going to start off by clicking on that search button, and we're going to go to the member search screen to look for information on a member and to create a new review. So you'll want to make sure that when you're in the system that this member search tab is highlighted. And then to start a search, you'll enter the member's Medicaid ID and their date of birth and click Enter. The information that you enter will need to be an exact match to what we have in the system. And if the system finds a match, the member will be displayed below for you to work with. And then you can click on any data element in this line. So you can click on the member ID or their last name, so they're able to start working with that member's information and submit a review for them. By clicking on that, it takes you to what's called our Member Hub. Our Qualitrac system is very member-centric, and what this does is allow you to view any relevant information related to that member that you should have access to. You'll notice here that the member's name is listed across the top, along with their Medicaid ID and their date of birth. You can also see additional information about this member, and to do that, we'll click on this View Member Details box. And what that does is open up this panel to show you additional information such as the member's phone number or their address. And then there is even a View Even More Member Details panel that you can click to open, and that will take you to where you can view that member's eligibility information. Below this member panel and their information, you'll see what's called our Utilization Management panel. And this is where you'll be able to view review information, any reviews that have been submitted by your organization for this member, along with the ability to start a new review. So we'll click on this Add button in the right-hand corner to start a new review. So the first step to review submission is to fill in what's called our Authorization Request panel. And this will tell us what type of review you are submitting for. So the Date Request Received box will populate based on the date and time that you're creating the review. Following that is our Review Type box, and this will tell us what type of review you are submitting. So for example, if you are submitting a DME review, you would select DME from the drop-down to select that review type. And we've put together a slide to just list the review types that are available to you. We'll be posting additional information to help guide you through this process if you have any questions. But you can see all the different ones that we have available in the system. Once the review type has been selected, you'll indicate the place of service where the care is being delivered and the type of service, defining the type of care or service being provided. The timing will also need to be indicated. Once all of those selections are made, you can click the green Add New Request button at the bottom of the page. One thing to note about this panel, that once you've made your selections and click that Add New Request button, you will not be able to make any changes to that panel. So if you happen to accidentally pick the wrong type of service, you can delete that information and then you can start a new one to make sure that you get it entered correctly. So just a quick discussion about the timing field that's in that authorization panel. For the inpatient out-of-state reviews, you'll have 3 options to choose from. So if you select prospective as a timing, it means that the admission will happen in the future, so the member is not currently in the facility. If you would pick concurrent, that means that the admission has happened, the member is in the facility and continues to stay in the facility. And then retrospective timing is for stays where the member's been admitted and discharged and the review is now being submitted. We'll also talk a little bit later about how you can submit a continued stay review in the system. This can occur when a prospective or concurrent review was submitted and the member is staying in the facility longer than the approved number of days. For all the other review types, you'll have the option for prospective or retrospective, and it works the same. So prospective means that the care service is not currently being provided, but will be provided in the future. There can be an exception to this for review types where there is a grace period for that prospective review to be submitted. And then retrospective is for services that have been provided and the services or care is no longer happening. So once we've finished that authorization request panel and we have all our information, For those out-of-state inpatient reviews, you'll see this admission and discharge panel. And this is where you can enter the admission and discharge date. For prospective and concurrent reviews, you'll only see that admission date available to you, and then if it's a retrospective review, it will ask you to fill in the admission and the discharge date. If you've selected any of the other review types, you'll see the dates of service panel, and this is where you will enter the start and end dates for the service. After the dates have been entered, we'll move to the coverage panel, and this will list the member's Medicaid eligibility information. If the member does not appear to be eligible for services, you'll see the Member Not Eligible banner in this panel, and you're able to override this message and submit the review by entering a comment in the eligibility comment box listed down here. You're able to enter a message about why the member should be eligible to allow for the review to be submitted. After that, we'll move into our facility and physician information. Each panel, as you see here, will have an orange or yellow add button in the top right corner, and you'll use that add button to click on and fill in the requested information. A few points to remember, for the out-of-state inpatient reviews, you'll need to fill in all three panels. And then for the other review types, you'll see ordering provider and treating provider. Just as a note, for the ambulance review, the ordering and treating may both be filled in with a service provider if there is not a separate ordering provider. So once we've clicked add, the system will open a modal where you can search for the provider or the physician. You can search using the NPI number in the NPI box. If you know the physician or facility's Medicaid ID, you can enter it in this other ID number and search using that. You can also enter using or search using a last and first name or an organization name. Once you've entered all your relevant search criteria, you'll click the blue search button and execute that search. The system will return any results that meet the criteria that you've entered, and then you'll use this green plus sign to the left of their name to actually select that provider that's delivering the service. Once you click that, you'll see the physician name populating in the panel, and then you can move to the next one. Just to note, if you ever happen to select the wrong one and you realize it when you get back to the screen, you can use the red trash can icon on the right-hand side to delete that. The add button will come back and you can do a new search and select the correct physician or organization. Once all that has been entered, you'll see what's called our Provider Organization Visibility Panel. And this panel allows you to provide visibility to the other users in your organization that may need to access and view the details of the review that you're submitting. If you do not select your organization in the panel, that means that you will be the only person in your organization that can view the review. So this panel is available as a security measure to allow you to keep information private so that only you can see it, or to allow that to be shared across others just within your organization. For reference, most of the time you'll want to make sure that you share that information across the users in your organization so that in case someone is out sick or just has gone on vacation, that they'll have backup and that other people can see that information. But you'll need to just make sure you check that organization and that drop down that you're a part of to allow that to happen. After that is our diagnosis panel, and this is where you'll enter any diagnoses related to the review. Again, we'll use the add button to add a new diagnosis. You can enter as many as you would like to, and if you enter more than one, you do have the ability to drag and drop those to reorder them. Once you click the add button, the system will ask you if you want to search using a code or a term. If you know the ICD code, you can enter it in the box and click the search button. And if you do not know the code, you can select the radio button next to search by term, and this will allow you to enter any kind of word or words into that search box and search that way. The system will return the results based on your search, and you'll select the radio button next to the one that is relevant to select it. And once you have selected it, you'll click the Submit button to add it to the panel. If you click Submit, it adds that diagnosis. There is also an option of Submit and Add Another, which will take you back to that selection screen and allow you to search for another diagnosis to add. Again, we have the red trash can here so that if you accidentally select one in error, you can delete it and do add and start to look for a new one. Following diagnosis is the procedure panel. It works the same way. This is where you'll enter any procedure information. Again, you'll use the Add button to search. You can enter as many procedures as needed. You'll have the ability to drag and drop to reorder them if more than one is entered. And just to be aware, if you're entering a review for an inpatient stay, like those inpatient out-of-states, there will be a stay procedure code defaulted in this panel that you can use. If you do not want to use it, you can delete it and enter a different code. Again, once you click Add, you can search by either code or term. Works the same as I showed you in the diagnosis panel. You'll select the radio button to the left of the one that you want to select, and it will populate in the panel. And you'll have the same option to either click Submit, and then it kind of closes that up, or you can click Submit and Add Another, where it takes you back to the search so that you can continue to search for and add additional procedures. And again, we have the red trash can if you would like to delete. If you have selected DME as your review type, you will actually see Durable Medical Equipment panel in place of the Procedures panel. And this is where that equipment or supplies can be entered. Once you've clicked Add and searched for the code that you want to enter, you will be required to select a modifier 1, enter your units and a total cost. Modifier 2 and frequency are not required. And then again, you have the option to add or select Add Another, and then you can add additional ones from there. And again, the same thing, you have the trash can here if you need to delete anything, enter it correctly. Once you have all that information, it takes you to our last panel, which is our documentation panel. And this is the final process to submitting the review. And this is where you'll upload any clinical documentation related to or necessary for the review to be processed. So to submit documentation, you'll click on that Add button, and it will open a modal. Here, you can either click here, and it will open a Windows directory where you can search for the files to add them, or you can drag and drop if you have them saved somewhere where you can access them. Documents must be a PDF or a Word document. The file name cannot have any special characters in it. We have changed it so that you can have spaces if you need to. And there is a name box here, so whatever document you upload, what it's named, it'll copy that into here, but if for some reason you wanted to change it, you do have the ability to do that. Once you have the document uploaded, it will ask you to select the category and a topic for it. So you can notice here, I selected the category of clinical, and then the topic was medical and treatment history. Once all of those boxes are filled out, you'll click the green Upload button to go ahead and attach this clinical documentation to the review. And you can repeat this process as many times as necessary to get all the relevant documentation that you need added to the review. So once we have all of that filled out, we'll click the green Continue button here at the bottom. And that will take us to what's called our attestation panel. Here, you'll need to enter the username that you were given and that you use to log into the system. And all you're saying here is that you certify that the information you're submitting is correct and accurate to the best of your knowledge, and that you're using the system and this process in the way that it's intended. Once you enter your username, you can go ahead and click the Submit button. And that will open what's called a comments modal. And this is where you can put any notes that you may want to send to the nurse who's going to be doing the review. It's not required. You don't have to enter anything here, so you can leave it blank and just click Submit to go ahead and send the review to Mountain Pacific. Once you've done all that work and completed it, you'll have the option to edit, delete, or leave the review. To leave, you can scroll down through all the entered information. You can confirm that everything looks correct that you've submitted, and then click on the Done button at the bottom of the page. Once you click on that, it takes you back to our task queue where you can begin a new search or submit other reviews through the system. So once the review has been submitted, you can find the review by searching for the case ID that was provided, or you can search for the member that you created the review for and look at that panel in the Member Hub. So once you've located the review, either finding it by case search or by finding it in the Member Hub, there are multiple actions that you'll be able to take. You can view the review to check and see if there's been a determination or if there's any correspondence or letters attached to the review. You can submit a continued stay review for those out-of-state inpatient reviews, or you can delete a review if it was submitted incorrectly for whatever reason. So we are going to think or assume that we went and searched for our member, and we're looking at the utilization management panel for this person. You can see here that our request has been submitted. And over here on the right-hand side, under our action column, is 3 little blue dots that we call an ellipsis. If you click on those dots, it will open a drop-down menu where you can click View Request, and then you can review all of the information that was submitted for that review. As we had talked about earlier, we had talked about the task queue and how if the nurse has requested additional information, you will receive a notification in the task queue that there's a request for information. So you'll want to check your scheduled task queue every so often. So to start this task and to make sure that you're able to attach that clinical documentation, you'll have the ellipsis here on the left-hand side. You'll click that, and it'll open a menu with the word Start. You'll click on Start, and that will take you to that summary page where you can see all the information for the review. You'll scroll down that page to the very bottom, and you'll see a correspondence section. And if there's been a request for information, there will be a request for information letter located in this correspondence section. You'll be able to see the name of the letter here under the letter name. If you click on that, you can open that letter, and the nurse will have provided guidance on what documentation they need you to provide for this review. So once you've reviewed that letter and you're aware of the information that needs to be included, you'll move back up to our documentation panel, and you'll go through the process of adding that information so that you can send the review back to the nurse to complete. So again, you'll click that Add button. You can either click here or drag and drop to find the files, and then click Submit or Upload to have them added to the review. So once you've added all that necessary information, you can scroll down to the bottom and click the Done button. Clicking the Done button finalizes the request, and we'll send it back to the nurse so that she can complete the review. Once you click Done, the system will take you back to that scheduled task queue. So if the task will no longer be there, if there are other ones, you can go ahead and start those and complete them. And we do want to point out, please do not start a new review to submit requested additional clinical information. That just causes a delay in the response time. So if you can just walk through the steps that we just outlined when a request for information is available, that'll make that much quicker and get that information back to the nurse to complete. After that, if the nurse has completed a review, you'll be able to view that determination in the portal. So again, you can search for the case using that case ID, or you can search for the member and go to the Member Hub in the panel. You'll want to view the review by using that ellipsis on the right-hand side and get that drop-down menu that says View Review. And then once you're in that summary page for the review, you can scroll down the page to the Outcomes panel. And you'll click on the dark brown section of the panel to open it to view the details. So when you first open it, you'll see there's a Requested and a Final Recommendation tab here. This Requested tab is in dark gray, so you can see that that's the one that has the information below. So this will show what was requested. And then if you click on where it says Final Recommendation, it will show you the information from the nurse's outcome of this review. You'll be able to see the outcome and the letter rationale available here. Along with that, when I showed you in the request for information process that correspondence panel, there will also be the correspondence panel in any completed reviews, and any letters that have been created that have that letter information and show the outcome of the review will also be available in that correspondence panel. Again, you can click on the name to open the letter. You'll be able to print it or save it or do what you want with it from there, but any letters will always be in that correspondence panel for you to view. Just to note, for appeals, those will continue to be submitted as they are currently, so there will be no change to the appeal process as you know it. The other thing I said we would talk about is the continued stay review submission. So if you've submitted a prospective or a concurrent out-of-state inpatient review for a member, you can search for that review in the Member Hub, or you can search for it using the case search, and then you can use the action menu to submit a continued stay review. What this CSR process does is provides the user the ability to submit a review to Mountain Pacific asking for additional days for the member to stay in the hospital that's related to that initial prospective or concurrent request. And then additional CSRs can be submitted until the member has been discharged from the facility. So again, if we're in the utilization management panel, we'll go over here to the right side and use the action button, and then you can see continued stay review is an option for you to select. So once you click on that, the system will open a modal. It will default to that date request received to the current date and time of which you're doing this process, and then you can enter how many days you're requesting and click the request extension button. Once you click that submit request, it'll finalize the review. The system will copy all of the information from the previous review. And at that point, you'll have the option to go to that documentation panel and click the add button to add any additional documentation, medical history, any of that kind of stuff to support the continuation request. Click the done button to submit the review to Mountain Pacific. And like we said, you can continue to add additional CSRs in the same way until the member is discharged from the facility. When you submit a review to Mountain Pacific, when there's any change, such as a request for information or a determination has been made, for those reviews that are submitted through the portal, you will receive an email notification letting you know that there's been a change in the status of the review. And just to make sure that everyone in your organization who has access to the portal receives one of those email notifications, please make sure to select your organization in that provider organization visibility panel. So we've walked through the system of how you submit a review, how you can submit a CSR or respond to a request for information. And we've talked about how you can view the outcome for the review and view any letters that are attached to it. So now we're just going to walk through, for those of you that will become security administrators, what you're able to do in the portal. So as we talked about earlier, you'd fill out the whole packet and send it in to us, and then you'll receive an email from us letting you know what your username is, and then when you click that reset password link, you'll be able to follow that link to go ahead and reset your password. Just a note that reset your password email that gets sent out is system generated, so you may want to check your junk or spam folder if you don't receive it within a minute or so of actually requesting to have your password reset. And the first time that you access the portal, you will need to change that password and agree to the terms of use. In our system, security administrators are called authorized officials. Like I said, they serve the ability to add and deactivate users. You can reset passwords, but you're also still able to submit and view reviews submitted by individuals in the same organization. Authorized officials will see an option in this top menu that other users who are not authorized officials are able to, they won't see, but authorized officials will. And you'll click on that tool icon to get the drop-down menu to appear, and then you'll click on the Manage Users box. The authorized official will be able to see all users associated to the same organization that they are. And to access any of your users, you can click on the blue links in the line to get to that user's detail. To add a new user, you click on the orange Add User button. So the user or the authorized official would be able to view their own or any of their users' information and have access to update that. Like I said, we'll be able to edit any of that information except for the username field. Once the username is created, it cannot be changed. The user would have to be deactivated and set up again to have a different username. Usernames must be distinct in our system, so if another user is set up and matches on that username already in the system, the user will not be saved, and so that authorized official or security administrator will be forced to enter a new username that does not match with any others. So we'll click on that Add button on the top right-hand corner of the Manage User page to add a new user. All fields with the red asterisk are required. There will be an organization drop-down that will allow the authorized official security administrator to associate users to the organization or physician groups that are available to the authorized official. So you'll check the box next to the one that you want the user you're having access to also have access. And again, you'll see the information here. So first name, last name, display name is just how their name will display when you search for them. And then this username is the one that needs to be unique and cannot be the same as anyone else in the system. Email, address, phone type, and preferred contact information are all required. Once you have all of that entered, you'll click the green Save button. And that will create the user that you're setting up. Once you click Save, it does take you to this Reset Password modal, and you will enter the user ID of the user, or the username of the user that you just set up, and then click Submit. And what that does, it will send that user an email with that Reset Password link so that they can go ahead and get their password reset and begin logging into the system. This is an example of what that email looks like. The link is available here. If you click that, it will take you to our Reset Password page where you will enter the password that will be your permanent password as you move forward. There's some directions here on what is allowed, how long it needs to be, what special characters are required, and that information is all there under the Submit button so that you can make sure that your password is meeting those rules. And that really walks us through all of the training. Here's a slide that just has important contact information. Again, the website where you're able to find the Security Administrator Registration Packet, the PowerPoint and the user guide, and the login link that you can start using on Monday is available here. And then important phone numbers are listed below. So if you'll give me just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and unmute the phone lines, and then if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to answer them or to ask them. I'll try to answer them.
The leader has unmuted your line.
Okay, I think the phone line should be open. Does anybody have a question?
Where I would like to be able to access the video once it comes out.
So it'll be on this website right here, and it should be in that. You can't see the slides, is what you're saying?
Right, yeah, technical difficulties.
Okay, let me give you the website address.
I just write it down. I should.
It's www.m as in Mary, P as in Paul, Q as in Queen, H as in Henry and F as in Frank, .org/corporate/Medicaid-portal-home. And if you go to that website, there's an education and training section that you can click on, and the PowerPoint slides and the user guide are listed there. We should have a recorded version of the training listed sometime next week.
Great. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Is that where we can find a copy to print off also?
Yes, ma'am. It will be available there as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We are part of a home health organization, and we have multiple branches throughout, 5 or 6 states. So would our security administrator be from our home office, and then each branch has their own?
So you can do it kind of any way you want to. If you want to have like one security administrator that has access to all of your branches, and then he would set up users in each branch, or he or she, you can do it that way. If you want to have a security admin at each branch and then they would set up the users, you're able to do it that. It really depends on what would work best for your facility.
Okay.
Yes, my name is Jody. Hello.
Hi, Jody.
I have been set up as the security administrator for our office, but I have yet to receive an email with my user ID, and we sent those a couple weeks ago. Should I still be waiting on those?
You should. Yep, that's on me. So I will set those up. We wanted to make sure that people had the training and knew that the site wouldn't be available until the April 1st and knew how to get the slides and everything. But we will be working on setting those up today and getting those emails sent out.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I have a question. If we don't see that soon, who should we contact?
On Monday?
You can either contact this 1-800 number for the portal technical assistance, or you can email me directly. My email is listed here.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Hello. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, we do discharge planning here at the University of Washington Medical Center, and sometimes we do have to request an ambulance to transport the patient all the way back to Montana because they can't do a flight. So we would be using this portal, is what you're saying, to request this out-of-state transfer ambulance?
I don't know the exact answer to that. Are you able to see the slides from the WebEx?
Yeah, I was able to look at the presentation, the slides, and I saw that you mentioned something about, the process of requesting an ambulance. But since we're out of state, is that like something that should be done through this portal, or should we continue to call as we usually do?
So let me find out the answer.
Stephanie, this is Mary. They would continue to call.
Okay. There you go. Continue to call. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, so this portal is just your guys' like Medicaid portal, like to look at, if they're eligible and what their benefits are, and to submit certain things. Is that correct? Hello.
So there are. Mary, did you want to respond to that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't really hear the question with all the background noise. Can you restate it?
Yes. So basically, we were told that we had to do this seminar. I'm a social work assistant here at the University of Washington Medical Center, and we help the social workers with discharge planning. Is this website basically just to help us look like what the patient's eligibility is, and what exactly would we use this website for, or this portal?
So the portal would be for submitting requests to authorize the inpatient stay.
I see.
For the out-of-state placement.
I see. So I don't think this really pertains to us, since we're not even going to be using it to request an ambulance.
It would be for utilization review and admissions at your facility.
I see. Okay. Great. Well, thank you for clarifying that.
My name's Dan. I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Dan.
Two questions. This is Me Motion, durable medical equipment provider. Is there a size limit on the attachments that we upload during the prior auth submission?
There is. So each attachment needs to be 300 meg or less.
Okay.
Which is like over 300 pages, I think, of a Word document. So it's pretty big.
Okay. Next question, are we able to combine the same HCPCS codes into one line? Like, can we, if we have multiple K0108 lines, can we put those all into one line, or do we need to list those separately?
If you were listing them separately before, you would continue to list them separately now in the system.
Okay. We don't really know what we were doing because it was the first time we'll be on the portal, but we'll just, I guess, list them separately just to be safe.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
So the portal go live April 1st, right? So at the meantime, while waiting to get access, can we still fax in the notification? Or do we have to submit online?
The notification to be a security admin or for a review to be completed?
The notification for the inpatient stay, for like the inpatient notification. Can we still fax it in at the meantime, or do we have to submit it online?
Yes. Until April 1st, you can continue to fax it in.
But after April 1st, it will be online only?
Is there any sort of grace period? So, it's Friday, we're just learning of the tool today. We're not even sure here at UW Medicine if we have the administrator yet, let alone getting all of us access by Monday. So I think the question on the table is, come Monday, if I don't have access to your portal, can I continue to use the method I was using today on a Friday?
Yes, of course you can. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hi. So my name's John. I work at Billings Clinic in Montana. And my question is, because we deal with Medicaid Montana all the time, is this just for inpatient auth requests?
No. So this would be for the out-of-state inpatient stays, for DME, home health, procedures, and private duty nursing, I believe.
Is it, so if we, what about outpatient?
For the procedures?
Yeah, like Medicaid Montana might say a specific procedure needs authorization. It was just an outpatient stay. It wasn't inpatient or anything like that. And we just fax our request to you guys, like MRI or something like that is usually what we need authorizations for. We just fax those into you guys. Is that still what we need to do, or are we doing outpatient on the portal too?
My understanding is that those will go through the portal. If you want to, my email is listed here, and you can send me an email, and I will get a confirmation of that and respond to you.
Okay.
We have the same question.
Good question.
We're at Broadwater in Townsend. So even if you're in Iowa, I'm assuming it's still considered in-state, not out-of-state, if we're dealing with our own state Medicaid?
Correct, yeah. So I'm just in Iowa with the system, but everything that you've done and all the people that you've worked with previously are who you're still working for or with. We are just demonstrating how to use the portal here.
Question.
So authorizations for skilled nursing facilities be going through this portal as well?
No.
No?
No, not the skilled nursing facilities.
Okay. All right.
And Stephanie, this is Jen, just to answer the question about the outpatient procedures. Yes, that is going through the portal. Basically, anything right now that is being submitted via fax requesting authorization that is coming to Mountain Pacific is transitioning to the portal, minus our drug, PA, and pharmacy program.
Okay.
And long-term care.
Stephanie?
Yeah.
I have a question. I do chemotherapy and radiation therapy authorizations here at Community in Missoula, Montana, and I don't see that on your guys' form or on your page that says which ones we're supposed to authorize. So do I still just fax in my stuff? And ours are all outpatient.
So do you submit those to the drug PA department?
About the armory.
At Mount Pacific?
I only have one patient that I know of so far that has had, and I called and haven't really gotten anything back on it yet.
What is it?
Go ahead.
So my answer would be no, because even if you're submitting those to the drug PA department here at Mountain Pacific, they are not in this first stage of transitioning to the portal.
Okay, so the radiation therapy and the chemotherapy is not.
Correct.
Okay, okay. So I would not use this as a pregnant.
For standing wasn't good enough, so they wanted to get you.
Stephanie? I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hi, Stephanie and Mary's Tracy Hines from.
Tracy, how are you?
Good. I think packet I did for another portal. Can I resubmit that?
Your current security admin packet?
For you? Right.
Is that what you're asking about?
My current security admin packet.
Yeah, what I probably need from you is just that page 5 for some kind of information letting me know what other NPIs you need to be assigned to, or if it's the same NPI, I just need to make sure you have access to those in both systems. So if you want to shoot me a quick email, I can work through that with you, or you maybe already have sent me an email. I think I remember reading something this morning, so I'll get back to you on that if I have it.
Okay, I think I said it, all of our NPIs for all of our different facilities are in there.
Okay, perfect.
I probably will add.
Make sure that you have access to them.
An email.
For both Idaho and Montana.
Yes.
Yep. I will work on getting that done.
No worries. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, this is Gwen from St. Peter's Hospital, and I just have a question, and this goes for our ambulance transports.
Sure.
So we're in the process of getting our security administrator, all of that stuff done. I'm trying to figure out where that's at. So in the meantime, do we continue the process we're doing, or are we going to have to?
That's the question part.
Yeah, until you have access to the portal.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That's okay, hold on. If everybody could use their phones if they're not talking, it would be helpful. Jen, is there a grace period, or do they need to submit some kind of form to you to not use the portal? How does that work for sure?
This is Mary. They should continue to submit through Sunday in the normal mode, and then starting Monday, they'll need to use the portal. If it takes, a day or so to get their user ID lined up, that's fine, but we do need them to start using the portal on Monday.
So if our stuff hasn't been finalized, turned in to where we've gotten anything to where I can even add the users in there, because I'm sure I'm going to be the security person, we can't continue what we're doing. We just hold those until we can.
You can fax until you get your portal ID and are ready to start using the portal.
Okay, I'll find out where that's at and our processes here. So
I think we can show them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we allowed to? Go ahead.
As a DME supplier that's submitting prior authorizations, I just wanted to validate when you were talking about entering the physician information, sometimes that will be related to the physician who's actually billing for a claim. In a DME situation, obviously the DME provider is the one billing for the claim. I just wanted to validate that we would fill out that physician information as the referring physician for the DME item, and as we continue with the prior auth process, we would then identify ourselves as the requester. Is that the intent?
So there may have been a physician that actually ordered the equipment or the supplies, and they would go in that ordering box, and then the one who was actually delivering the services or supplies would go in the treating provider box. So that would probably be the DME supplier.
Okay. That makes sense for now. If there's follow-up, we'll check it as it goes, as we complete our first couple online.
Yeah.
And then a follow-up, I think many are nervous about not being able to log in Monday. Is there any way to validate that the requests have been submitted or you have received them in any way?
You should have an email from myself or someone on my team that set up that account prior to Monday, letting you know what your username and everything is. If you have not received that, but you're sure that you have submitted the application to us, you can email me. My email is here, is listed on the slide, or you can call that 1-800 number, and then we'll be able to work through that with you.
Okay, but you're saying hold off until Monday to do that?
Yeah, you won't be able to actually access the portal at all until Monday morning, so.
Correct. I heard some say they've submitted 2 weeks ago. I'm in that class too, and I guess I would have expected something before now. Sounds like you're not going to send those out until this weekend.
They should start going out this afternoon. We just want to make sure people got through the training and kind of knew what was going on before we sent that login information out.
Yeah. Okay.
Was there someone else that had a question?
I'm wondering if we're able to upload photos on the portal, because it kind of sounded like it had to be like a PDF document.
So, yes, you can usually save any of those as a PDF and then upload them, but yeah, it would need to be either Word or PDF to upload everything.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. There aren't any other questions. We'll go ahead and end the call. Appreciate everyone's time and attention today and all the questions that came through this. Like I said, if you have things as we move forward, just let us know and we're happy to help. Have a great weekend, and we're looking forward to working with you.